All right. Hi. Hi, it's me, Jordan Long here, and I'm doing a YouTube live stream, which when you see to do a YouTube live stream, you seem to YouTube seems to always make mistakes when it comes to live streams and say that folks aren't following followership oversight or aren't following YouTube Webstead oversight, or they're guilty of not following the land ownership law. Now, I understand that a lot of folks at YouTube work from home. A lot of them probably still do. So how can folks make bad calls when you're at home and not when you're at YouTube? I don't know. So first off, I just want to say how sad I am for clearing my throat in the beginning of my film. Now, there seems to be sad for clearing my throat. When it comes to YouTube live stream, there seems to be sometimes you get followers, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you get a lot of folks watching your films and saying stuff in your shout out box. That's what I call it. And some you don't. Now, for months, or I guess for some time, if you were doing a YouTube live stream, then your shout out box wouldn't show up after the film delayed. Well, it looks like that hang-up's been healed. And now anyone's live stream will also have their shout out box in their film. Now, I just want to say how sad I am for clearing my throat in this film. And I didn't, there I go again, sad for that. And I didn't go on and set it up and tell everyone, I'm going to be making a film at 5:20 p.m. Or that would be in Eastern. Central, that might actually come down to being 4:20. Mountain, that come down to be at least 3:20. And in Pacific, that might come down to at least being 2:20. So, anyway, there's no way that I was going to meet anyone's time stead. I had 2 followers, I only got 1. Now, a lot of folks will ask me, Jordan, how come you don't do anything in your films that would be seen as fair work? Now, I'm going to tell anyone who comes on this YouTube live stream if they want to know what I believe about that. Well, first off, fair work is a double-edged sword. In one hand, it does let you work with other folks' stuff, as long as it's for learning or teaching or scathing or making fun of or giving your thoughts on. And as long as you're doing all that, then it can be seen as fair work. Now, fair work becomes a double-edged sword when you do all that and someone sees it and doesn't say it's fair work. They say you're not following ownership law, which is more smoothly can happen. And I know there's folks on YouTube mates and even non-mates who, when they talk about a film or farsi or show or a play or some film game or some song or something, they show either a likeness or some of the film when they're either making fun of it, scathing it, putting it down, or, giving their thoughts on it, whatever that might be. And for some of them, their films meet the fair work, and others do not meet it. So that's why fair work, offshoot of the ownership law, is a double-edged sword. Now, there are some folks out there who think that the ownership law and the fair work offshoot of that law should be shifted. Well, how many times can you shift it? At the end of the day, it's going to be the same thing. You know, it's all on when someone believes. Yeah, it's a thought, it's a belief. There's no truth to it. If someone looks at someone's work and says, "Oh, it's fair work," then it's fair work. If they look at it and say it's not fair work, but you're not following ownership law. See, so it goes both ways. And I know some folks out there, some folks out, just have a clear in my throat. And some folks out there might get irked and mad and wretched and say that they did all that they were following fair work, and that their film should be seen as fair work. Well, there's a lot of films out there that should be seen as fair work and don't get to be fair work. And it's smooth to get in a hang up with YouTube or any owner or lawyer of any owner or whatever over their stuff. There are some businesses out there that, well, some of them are creeps, and they'll choose to not believe in fair work. And there are others that will believe in fair work. You know? So that's why I don't do anything in my films that someone could come on and say, "Oh, well, that's mine and I own it. And I didn't give you the right to put it on there." You know? So, and I know there's going to be someone who's going to be on my YouTube live stream and tell me, "Oh, well, dolls are owned." Yeah, their trade owned it, but not owned as that is their stuff and you can't do anything with it. It would be hard to get ownership on every single one of me out there. So the doll is not seen as fair work. The doll is not seen as ownership. The ownership is on whoever owns the doll. Yeah, it might be trade marketed or trade owned. Whoever had the right, to work with the name of the business may have gotten the name for it, but that was about it. Now, if I was going to be on some farcier show or film or play, then I might have to get some kind of income deal with them. But, yeah. And there might be some folks out there thinking, "Oh, well, this is going to be a boring film then, if you don't do anything with other folks' shit." Well, I did have one or two followers, one thumb up. No one needs to say anything. I have a belief that the first man or woman that comes on anyone's YouTube live stream is some overseer on YouTube who is overseeing to make sure that your live stream follows YouTube ownership, a YouTube followership oversight, and is following the YouTube Webstead oversight. Or it could just be someone who comes on and doesn't have anything to say. It's all from above. Now, some folks might think to themselves, "Is this all this film's going to be?" Well, that was a big portion, a big chunk of the film. But then it goes to a YouTube live stream, and there is a lot of inconsistencies, a lot of things that are going back and forth. You have some folks that will come on your YouTube live stream one time, and next time you do one, they don't come on it. Now, I get it. Everyone's busy and iffing, and they either go to work, they go to learn. So they all live in unlike time steads, and as you say, you can't meet everyone's time stead. It can't be done. Ugh. And it might help if I went on and told everyone, "Oh, I'm going to do a film at 5:20. But then again, that only works if if you know someone's going to have to watch your stuff. Oh, I don't even know why I'm doing this YouTube live stream. I think maybe I made a mistake, that I'm not in the mood to do this YouTube live stream, so forgive me. Oh, hold it, hold it. Oh, I might have to shift the fan on. Sad when the fan and the wind chiller have to be a team to keep your room cold. And I know there's going to be someone out there going, Jordan, you're sitting too close to the reckoner. Jordan, the sun's coming through your window. Yeah, that could all be from above. Well, I do have one follower on my YouTube live stream. So I guess that's good enough grounds to keep on going with this YouTube live stream. So I wonder if you're going to say something in my shout out box. YouTube fixes the flaw, and then I say, cool, I'll see all my stuff when my film fillets. And well, it looks like it's not going to be there because no one had nothing to say. So, well, I do know that I do one thing that, one thing that Natalie Tang and her does not do, and that would be live streams. And let's talk about how, that's true. Well, I got 2 followers, 1 thumb up. Oh, I know that most folks on YouTube, when they do a YouTube live stream, they're all over the stead, and hey, I'm about the same way too. I don't really I put some thought, but I don't sit there and go, oh, I don't sit there, and I don't have all the cool tools or the film shifting tools to do all this cool shit that a lot of folks do in our YouTube live streams. Oh, hi. So, yeah. And here's something else that some folks out there might, hi. So, this is something I call myself Far Eastern because that's what I am. And everyone has this, and my kind, well, I'm going to say has this, not a fight over, but mostly a belief that Far Eastern refers to anyone living in the Far East. Yeah, there's the Middle East, and then there's the Far East. There's the West East, and then there's the Middle East, and then there's the Far East. So anytime I would go and get my driving sheet done, my driving deal done, any kind of thing, I'd always have put down Far Eastern. And so and that's what I would do. Only I know now how it's going to be like. You probably got to be like 6 feet away, wait for your trap to be called, then go up there, fill in all your stuff, then take your lairware off so they can actually take a likeness of your lair, put your lairware back on, and then be out. That's the way they're going to do it when they start up doing it. But I never understood, I do play film games. I do. But I do play all kinds of film games on all the game players, the old ones and the new ones. And they call me the Wrath film game girl. Because I bitch and whine and nag about every bad game there was to every game player there is. I know that's like not a big thing, but that's what I do. But, yeah. So everyone likes to talk, So right now I got 3 followers, 1 thumb up, and that's good. Now, if someone's going to be like, oh, you should have an overseer of your shout out box, as I call it. Well, I should or should not. When you make someone an overseer, first, it has to be someone you trust. 2, you have to hope that they know what to look for. And then you'll have folks that think they know what you like and what you don't like, but they don't know. So they could lock someone that isn't doing anything wrong. Like I like to write in big rooms, and some folks might not like that. But then on mine, I like that. So there might be something that someone might go, oh well, Jordan's not going to like that, and they make a guess when here someone wasn't doing anything wrong. So at the end of the day, I just take care of that myself. I don't even know what that run escape or run get out is, but most likely it's probably some shitty game that probably has bad gameplay, bad running, and all kinds of things that are not right with it. But then again, Nurscape, Nunscape, I never played that game before, so I don't know. Maybe I'm that old learn and that new learn, but I never played that game before. So, yeah, a lot of you folks missed the beginning of my YouTube live stream when I gave you my take on fair work offshoot of ownership law, how it's a double-edged sword, and about how either your films meet fair work or they don't. And how I don't do anything in any of my films that someone could say, well, that's not fair work. That's ownership law. Because it's someone's belief of what your work is. Sad for clearing my throat, but that's been going on for almost all my film. I don't know why. So, yeah. So that's why I don't do it. That's the first grounds. Ground 2 is that I don't have all the film shifting tools that one would have to do all that shit are too hard to work with. And with be earnest, if you're going to get in a hang up over any of that shit, it's not even worth doing it. In my belief, and someone's going to get irked, mad, or wretched at me for this, but my thought is that fair work it does not really shield you. You still get in the bond of ownership. So a lot of folks should just stop doing fair work. It's all at the end of the day, even if their films meet the fair work oversight of ownership law, someone can still come in and say, oh, that's my ownership, you took my shit. Even though you may have made fun of it, or scathed it, or I don't know, gave your thoughts on it, or somehow did some teaching or learning on it. But they'll never stop. The only day they'll stop is when that offshoot is done. And I'm sure there are some folks in this world, some film businesses, farseer show businesses, play businesses, film game businesses, song businesses out there that probably wish that fair work was not around. And that would be a sad day if that ever gotten undone. But to undo fair work, they would have to undo a lot of stuff about the ownership law, which hasn't really shifted that much since 9 between 75 YL. Now, I am not no lawyer. I do not have any law deal or sheet. So what I say is just what I hear and what I read, which is not much. But in the early days, ownership went like this. You had ownership over your stuff until you died. Once you died, that fell into what was known as folk right, meaning that it belonged to anyone. But what happened was businesses started to go in and on put the ownership, making it go longer than it normally would have gone. So when Walter Disney and his brother Roy Disney both died, and Mickey Mouse was going to go to folk right, the new head setter, the four head setter, and the Walt Disney Board of Overseers had their lawful team make a new oversight that kept on extending the ownership of Mickey Mouse. So Mickey Mouse would never be folk right, and they keep on doing it. And if you think it was only Walt Disney that did it, well, Warner Brothers did it to Bugs Bunny and so and unso. So very few stuff goes into what's known as folk right. Now, my stuff is owned until I die. Once I die, my shit becomes folk right, and no one's going to go on. And I never got no lawful sheet. I never got no deal where I had to buy a fee, and no one ever wrote down a sheet telling me, all right, you got ownership of Jordan from this long until 1 year, and you got to renew it every year. No, that's it. And I don't really care about my ownership or that. If someone wants to take my shit, they can do it. I'm not going to fight them on it. At the end of the day, I know who owns my stuff. It will, yeah. But at the other side, it would be hard for someone to say that it was their film when it's not their house, not their room, and it's not their doll. And I don't need to get through that shit with them. Well, I guess I'll play that game. I don't really think you're a lawyer to say. My godmother and her husband Cameron, well, Cuska Wealth Team has a lawful team, and even then my mother had one. But let's be earnest, if you even were a lawyer, you would be taking it on free, because I wouldn't have enough to buy the fees and the oversight and the charges or whatever you want to call it that a law business or a lawyer would give for doing work for a buyer. But yeah, I'll probably play the game. It's probably going to have, bad, bad run, bad gameplay, you know, one hit deaths, you know, one man, no ongoings, stuff like that. So I didn't want to get into that whole thing about ownership law, fair work, but I guess it comes out again and again. So anytime you're on YouTube, well, actually, if you're on a YouTube live stream, a lot of bad calls tend to happen. Why? Who knows? Some folks have the belief that YouTube set some tool up months ago and have it run the website. But at the end of the day, they're still work at YouTube. They work at home, but they still work at YouTube, but from home. So yeah, there's still a lot of folks making oversight. And I just most likely think that some folks out there go, oh, my bad. Somebody told me this. So I had a YouTube live stream like months ago, And I wasn't doing anything wrong, and then I was told that that YouTube live stream didn't follow YouTube followership oversight. And I got a warning. And thank God YouTube has the warning and the free strikes. If it was the old YouTube setup of that, I would have already lost my good standing. Well, I don't really know if my reckoner can handle playing games. I don't know if my Microsoft Windows 10 can handle it. It's probably most likely either some game you play on the Sony PlayStation or the Microsoft Xbox or whatever, because they'd be more built to handle it. And you always hear about folks that, with that. So, yeah. And somebody out there might, think to themselves, well, Jordan, how long you going to keep on doing what you do? I've been on YouTube for about 7 years. Well, actually, I've been on YouTube longer than that. I started out under Miss Jordan Long, then Jordan Mulan Long, and then Jordan Channel 20 before I even got this one. So I've been doing films probably since 2012 YL. Even though this YouTube fairway only goes back to 20 between YL. And why? Natalie Tang and the follower fairway webstead that she had on YouTube. And she stopped doing films after 27 between YL. Something I never stopped doing. I have made more films than she did. And I don't know how anyone who follows someone who you haven't been making films in a long time, I wonder what they do. The followers of Natalie Tang, what do they do? Do they watch all her old films over and over again? Do they, I don't know, write on her films and on her fairway, I wish you'd come back and make some more? Well, whatever the grounds is, she's done. But there are other folks on my YouTube fairway that I have featured there or shown there that do what I do. So you can go check them all out. Sad for clearing my throat. So you're like, oh, Jordan, you going to have anyone else be on your YouTube fairway? I don't know. It might only be me on my YouTube fairway. And a long time ago, I used to make films, or I once made films, where I would go to the Carnegie Book House in the Keysport and then get books, either from the kids or from the grown-ups, and then talk about them. And I did this starting from 20 cert between YL until about 2020 YL, when the whole COVID-19 shit went bad. And then I had to finally get back to books like back around June to one of those drop-off boxes. And their hours are not like they used to be. So I no longer do that anymore. And as of right now, I no longer do that. But anyway, it is what it is. And when I started out making these films, I didn't look the way I looked. First, I was some Barbie doll, wasn't even Far Eastern. Then I shifted over to being some kind of Far Eastern Filipino doll. Then I shifted over to be saying Far Eastern Japanese doll. Then I shifted over being some wax Far Eastern Chinese dollar, I got this one. And I've only been like this for maybe a year and a half. But now I'm going to talk. Now I'm going to talk about, and I don't know if he's going to be on this YouTube live stream or not. So, if you probably think to yourself, well, what kind of web shooter do I have? Jelly combo. That's what it's called. And so it is what it is, Yeah. You can tell that my YouTube live streams are boring. They're not as funny or glee as as anyone else out there. And the way I look at it is that this is a podcast. It is. All right. It's being done through YouTube and not some other podcast website out there. But I see it as a podcast. And I know there's going to be folks out there saying, it is what it is. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do some stunt call or some LARP call. Why would I do that for? I'm not going to do anything like that. And you're probably thinking, oh, well, is my sister Jade, my god sister Gabrielle, my god brother Zena's Osmond Dylan going to be here? My godmother Zena? Is Cameron going to be here? I don't know. Yeah. What, you want me truly to do one? Because I'm not going to do one. Yeah, well, I'm not going to do a true one. I'm not going to do something that's unlawful. So then someone can then go tell YouTube, oh, you're doing something unlawful in your YouTube live stream. And then someone at YouTube is going to watch my film all the way up until I do the unlawful deed. So then I lose my good standing, because then that would be a strike. And I'm not going to be doing that. So, yeah, not going to happen. Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of fair ways out there to do it, and good for them if they do, but they're putting themselves out there that they could be doing something wrong by the stunt calls or the LARP calls, whatever you want to call them. Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, you don't got my wireless far speaker track, so you wouldn't not do that. So this is happening. So I have to clear my throat again. Hope I'm not coming down with something again. Geez, last week, starting from the end of Thursday into at least around Sunday, I had laryngitis. Either some Greek borrowed word, Latin borrowed word, or speech box illness. And I hope I'm not coming down with it again. And I do not have COVID-19. So, anyway, or COVID-20, any one of its offshoots. So anyway, oh, sad for that bird. So what I was going to say, I had 3 followers, I'm down to 2, but so one time I was on a YouTube live stream and someone's like, oh, well, You want to get some dolls? I got some Far Eastern dolls, and they're like, I'll send them out to you. So I put my send out there, and nothing happened. So either they were lying to me or played some stunner lark on me. And there might be someone saying, well, you should never give out your stuff to folks. And that is true unless you trust them. But then again, there's going to be folks saying, oh, well, you're on the interweb. And you truly don't know anyone on the interweb, which is probably true. You only know from what they write and what they put on their YouTube fairways and stuff like that. You know. I don't know. No, sad for that yawn. Yeah, and this is where the haters would get irked and say, you need to be earnest. You need to clean all that out. I hate lifelike films with their everyday shit. Yeah, well, it is what it is, you know. So right now, it is what it is. Oh, sad for doing that. Now I'm going to go through and start cleaning out things out of temporary files, whatever they call them. Oh, sad for that burp. And it's not done. I got to go to interweb chooses and picks and clean stuff out of there. And then I have to go through, go on the Sysmattack Norton one and clean stuff out of file cleanup, which is their offshoot of what I already did with them with Microsoft Windows. And then may see if I got any Sysmattack Norton live updates. Yeah, here comes about 3 of them now. You can't see any of this, but it's on my side, so. All right, that's done. Yeah, right now, well, sad for clearing my throat. YouTube live stream is probably a foe for anyone that's into shifting their films or cleaning their films. Because they got to wait until they got to hold or they got to stop until their film is done before they can do any of that. And then they're at the kindness of the YouTube film shifter, which is as hard and broken and hard to work with as all the other ones out there. You sure you want me to call you? Because if I call you and it shifts out that it's something wrong, you know, you sure you want me to call you? And keep in mind, it would be you want me to call you. And let's be earnest about this. You know, I don't know. We'll have to think about it. But the thing about the YouTube live, yeah, well, you know, there's always someone out there that, you know, they have trust you. They put out their stuff. So anyway, I guess we'll see what happens. So sometime, I don't know, sometime this week or next week, I should be getting, I don't know, Firefly Funhouse Bray Wyatt and Fiend Bray Wyatt from Amazon. Well, one of my friends on YouTube, actually, he was on the Sailor Moon YouTube live stream yesterday. Oh, actually, yeah, on Monday, I think, who bought it. So only he would know about the tracking and the shipping out of it. I could ask him for that stuff if he has that on him. But and I know that, yeah. And hey, you can call me right now if you like. My mom says yes, you call me. Well, I'll do that. But I just want to warn you, if I do something like that, see, I'm always being frightened these days about YouTube saying that, the live stream ain't following YouTube followership oversight. And then someone says, oh, well, I saw someone calling someone on a YouTube live stream on their webstead, and they put their far speaker track out there, the wireless far speaker track out there. And even though someone may have gave the all right and said it was all right to do it, you know, well, I'll see. I don't know. I don't know. The one on YouTube I was talking about, I don't really know how to say his name, so the great I come up to is saying his name is Tsunami Z2 or whatever it is. He might not be on YouTube today, but that's well, at least that's how I say it. That might not be how it's said, but that's how I say it. And if I did call you, it would most likely be the doll doing it. Well, actually, me playing as a doll would be doing it. So, and then I'm just gonna put this out here. So, I was on Twitter. I'm not on Twitter anymore. But one time when it was way back when I was doing Xenopapus or whatever, and someone told me, "Oh, you're lifelike, but your selfhoods are not lifelike." But that was sad and a mean thing to say, is I was doing that with other folks and they liked it. And okay, maybe I'm not as good as others when they do all their writing shit and they got like a book and they got all this stuff going on in it. Oh, Jordan opened the door and she closed it. And then Jordan got ready to do a YouTube live stream. And she fought the day would be the yeah, I'm not really good at doing all that shit. Blizzard food reviews or snowstorm food thoughts would be the English words for it. Since blizzard is a French borrowed word, reviews a French borrowed word, the English word would be snowstorm food thought, or food thoughts more than one. But then again, I could be wrong about that. So I got 6 followers on here, and it cracked my neck. Ugh. And you might think, how am I being holded up to the web shooter right now? I'm on a stand, and there's a post there's a thing in the back, and that's what's being holded on to. So that's what's going on. So yeah. Well, sad for that yawn. It said you should call call a blizzard. He want me a Sailor Moon. No, I don't know. Because how am I going to hold on to my wireless far speaker at the same time I'm holding on to my doll? To me. Yeah, we'll be on Look Talk. But anyway, yeah. So I don't know what else I should do. Oh, oh yeah. Well, my god sister Gabrielle be doing these real long, loud, real loud yawns. And well, my godmother Zena and Cameron, her husband, my godbrother Zeno Thosman Dylan. He's in my and my sister Jade, and he's in to help her, you know, feel a belief that she does it only to want someone to look at her. And Gabrielle always says, "Oh, so you think I just do this because I don't get anyone looking at me?" And sometimes I do it too, you know. It says, um, call me. It is a luxury Sailor Moon. Whatever that is. Some kind of Sailor Moon doll, I guess. I don't know. Which would actually, I don't know. It said, hey, my friend, do you know, and do you have any tracking on the Firefly Bray Wyatt and Fiend Bray Wyatt doll that you got from Amazon? I guess you would have, it would have, I guess you would have heard some about it on Tuesday or today. Thank you for being on the YouTube live stream. Yeah, well, I don't know how to do the app. See, I go on a YouTube live stream, and when I put something in someone's live stream, I don't know how to do the app. It doesn't let me. But then someone else can come on someone's shout out box, and he's in my shout out box, and then do the app, and I don't. Actually, maybe I should just shut off the fan now. Well, if I'm doing well. The man with the Scott Steiner logo, with the Scott Steiner likeness. I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. You know, I don't really have anyone that I'm a girlfriend or woman friend to right now. Me and Godzilla did have at least some dates, but nothing came out of it. You know, we wanted to start over again, but nothing came out of it. No, we do not have that. Sad, Jordan said. We don't have anything like that. You know. So anyway, no, I don't have anything like that. Now I got 9 followers, 4 thumbs up. And sometimes I believe that sometimes I believe that, you know, that I'm being, well, Sometimes I believe that, oh, you know, I'm going to say it. Sometimes I believe that I might just be a knockoff of the community channel or the followership fairway that Natalie Tang does. But then I go, I'm not a knockoff because one, there's a lot of things that aren't the same. One, she's from the Underland and I'm from the Haunted Reichs. Two, most of my time I've either had a Microsoft Windows reckoner where she's always had an Apple Macintosh reckoner. You know, she's a woman-like being, and I'm a doll. So right off the front, though, there are some things that, you know, and I have me and my other dolls come on and show play as the other selfhoods. Well, she goes around and show plays of all the selfhoods. I like all the WWE lifetimes. You know, the old stuff and the now stuff. If that answers anything. I don't know who your friend Robert Pixie is. I don't know any Robert Pixie or Pixie. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but I don't know him. So, and I don't know if I said his name right or not. To let you know. I'm not sad about that. About all those yawns that are coming out. Sad about the clearing of the throat that happened. The burps. Well, he does not work. He does a lot of housework, but he does not have any work that he does like that. No, he never did work. He made the choose many years ago not to work, and a lot of folks scapegoated him for that and seek to make him feel bad for it. They would say things like, "Oh, you're on SSI. You're on team or follower or Gaver Stronghold Guild. Oh, you're a you're a creep because you don't have a full-time or half-time job." Well, here is the truth. It is hard to get work if it's full-time or half-time. No need what kind of learning that you have or have to have for the job. And it is more smooth to get fired from that job. And I didn't want to go through that. And if that makes him bad or makes him some kind of creep out there, then oh well. It is what it is. You know? So no, he doesn't do any work. He has no full-time or part-time work. And if that's going to be a hang up with some folks, oh well, it is what it is. You know? So that answers it. Well, you're welcome. Well, I'm a show player, and I've been in some films and farseer shows and business wises. I don't do plays. And I never ever went to any show playing learn. You know. So yeah, I don't do plays. That's the only kind of show playing I don't do. I do films, I do farseer shows, I do business wises, but I do not do plays. And I know folks are going to say, Jordan, Plays are the oldest kind of show playing there is. They were around long before films and farcier shows, which is true, but I don't do those. So, yeah. I like to go swimming, but I have a swimming vest on or a swimming jacket on, or whatever you want to call it, because I can't swim. So I had to have that to keep me floating. But that's one of my beloved things to do, in spring and summer. And yes, folks, it's still summer into at least September 21st or 22nd, 22. I know a lot of folks believe that after Labor Day or Work Day, both on the Reichs and the settled lands, and a lot of pools get shut down and stuff, and learn halls start up business again. I know a lot of folks think that, oh, it's done, but no, it still goes at least to the 21st or the 22nd. Well, I don't really watch Dynamite or Dark, so whatever happens on there, good for them. But I watch Monday Night Raw, NXT, Main Event, and Friday Night SmackDown. Yes. So, but my whole take on this whole thing, that's what I think. Oh no. Oh, oh. There goes my yawn again. Yes. And I got 10 followers, 12 thumbs up. Someone wrote down, yeah, kind. Swimming's one of my beloved outside things too. Jordan, I saw your film on who's Robbie P. Blogs? Some other webstead, I guess. But then again, I don't really care about my ownership of the films. So if it's on some other webstead, it is what it is. I'm not going to be one of those folks that say, I have to show everyone who my ownership is. But then again, I don't really care. But if that's where you saw my film, then good. And then thank you. Well, sad for that yawn. But this is lifelike. And true life, you can't, in true life, God doesn't give you the old, gotta shift out that shit. It happens, it happens. I know a lot of folks want their films to be flawless and they skill their film shifting tool and they would clean all the throat cleaning, all the burps, all the yawns, all the sneezes, everything out and make it on lifelike. Yes, Sailor Moon is. She is lovely. Yes, she is. But I had 10 followers. Now it's down to 6. I should just stop talking about how many followers I have. Some folks have this fought and belief over. I don't know. What kind of web shooter I have is called Jelly Combo. And it only works for Microsoft Windows and Apple Macintosh OS. It does not work for Linux. It does not work for Google Android. It does not work for Apple iOS. It doesn't work for some soft OS, and it doesn't work for Google Chrome OS. So if you are thinking it only works off Microsoft Windows and Apple Macintosh OS, that's it. And I run it through Microsoft Film Tool, and 1080p HD, which makes my films take a little more longer to upload and for lay on YouTube than they did before, but I'm used to it by now. I don't know. I don't know what I think about William Gates. I think he was a really good effing businessman that had a thought how to make. He did a good job when it came to running Microsoft all those years. I don't know what he does these days, but I unlook him for being effing. And I do think that Microsoft gets a bad name for all the shit that the old Microsoft Windows used to be like. Windows 1 and 2, 95, 98, 20, XP, Vista, 7, 8, 8.1, either locking up, crashing, freezing, being hacked it all over the said. Jordan, do you like? Oh, I'm more. Oh, that wasn't even my answer. I'm more like I like I like the hamburgers. Like Big Macs or just the normal hamburgers. I'm not into the McRibs or anything like that. If that's what you were asking me. Yeah. Well, sad for that yawn. I like So's chicken. That's what I like. I know you're Far Eastern and you're eating Far Eastern food. Yeah, but I'm not good with the sticks. So I tend to eat it with a fork or whatever. I'm not really good with the sticks. You know? And they'll be like, oh, Jordan, well, and I'm, yeah, but that's what I like. Oh, oh. I should probably make a song out of those yawns, but nah. I live with my godmother Zena, her husband Cameron, my god sister Gabrielle, my god brother Zeno's husband Dylan, and that's who I live with. In the mind seem made up world, but in the true world, I'm a doll who just lives with whoever they live with. I know it doesn't really answer it that good, but it is what it is. Yeah, well, at least no one's gonna, yeah. Well, you're welcome. And I thought someone out there was gonna get irked at me and say, Jordan, you need to stop all that yawning as you did. Oh! Let's see. I gotta do something. But I don't know if I had a beloved YouTuber or not. I think back in the day it may have been a community channel or the followership fairway. that Natalie Tang did. But I guess I had to pick up the slack, I guess. The one thing, I know folks come on YouTube and then they talk about how, oh, well, they're going to be in it for so long and they're going to go do something else. Well, I'm in it for the long run. So that's just me. And I know a lot of things ran a lot of folks off, you know. There were a lot of things that, you know, made folks leave YouTube. Well, oh, ownership laws, shifts here and there, COPA, bunch of other shit. But I took it all as it was. You know. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. I don't know. I don't really know how long I could, how long I'm going to keep this going, though. I might have to go soon. Saffir, clear my throat there. But I just want to thank everyone who came on my YouTube live stream, the ones who said stuff in my shout out box, as I call it. Uh-oh. I heard another burp. Sad about that. So I guess we'll want to thank everyone for coming on my YouTube live stream. The ones in the shout out box, the ones that thumbed it up. As you know, YouTube did heal that hang up. So everyone's YouTube live streams, mated and non-mated, should have their shout out box stuff show up with their YouTube live streams. So I'll see you all later. Goodbye.